Well, welcome everybody. I am here with Charli Hathcox. She is the communication manager at Heartland Family Service, and also Mitch McCartney. He's the development manager for Heartland Family Service. Mitch, Charli, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Andy.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
I know, Charli, the last time we saw each other, we were sitting on the couch at the studio having a conversation about Heartland Family Service. So things
are a little bit different now.
Things are a little bit different, but we're moving on. And again, wanting to support Heartland Family Service. So just tell us, who does Heartland Family Service serve? Let's just start there.
Sure. Well, we serve each year over 62,000 individuals, children, and families through direct services, education, and outreach. So a lot of the time that includes people of all ages, races, cultures, socioeconomic status. But to be honest, 80% of our clients make incomes of $20,000 a year or less. And then some of our clients have no income at all. So we're really serving our area's most vulnerable populations in more ways than one.
Absolutely. And I know we're going to get into a little bit more about, you got some events coming up, COVID-19, but I mean, I guess I'm just going to ask you, I mean, how are things going right now? I mean, with COVID-19, that's impacting everybody, and it has to be impacting the people you serve even more so.
It is. And one of the things that we have noticed is there's been an uptick in mental health concerns. There's been an increase in people using substances to try to cope with the stress of being in a pandemic or social isolation. As far as the senior citizen community goes, they're feeling even more isolated than that population already can, because they can't see their children, their grandchildren. They're part of the vulnerable population. Domestic violence and child welfare cases, reporting those are all up. So you're seeing all of these trending items, and we do have a variety of programs that help treat all of those issues, but part of the problem is lack of awareness on our procedures. Some people are afraid to go out in public still. There's just such a wide impact of things that are impacting everything around us right now.
Absolutely. And I mean, and for sure that social connection and that being around people, wow, that just hits home again every time I talk to a nonprofit, and especially Heartland Family Service, because you do impact, your services are for so many different people, from children, babies to seniors. So yeah, it really does impact. So let's talk a little bit. Let's get with Charli. Okay, or Mitch. I'm sorry, with Mitch. Mitch, let's talk about the events, because the events that you hold actually do raise funds for the services that you provide. So let's go in and kind of talk about, there's two events coming up. One of them is the golf tournament, and it's happening.
It is happening. I mean, that's the one thing, is even in a pandemic, as long as we observe some protocols, we can still golf, right?
Yes.
And so we're, the 27th annual Safe Haven Golf Tournament is on. It's on for Friday, August 28th at Eagle Hills Golf Course in Papillion. We'll do registration starting at 7, tee off at 8. We still have room for some teams to register, so we'd love to have some teams come out. And as Charli was mentioning, one of the unfortunate side effects of the pandemic is things like domestic violence and that are up. And so what the Safe Haven Golf Tournament always has done is been able to raise financial support for our domestic violence and sexual abuse programming, and also helps fund the concealed shelter in Sarpy County for survivors, women and men and children who are survivors of domestic violence who are seeking to escape. And so it's a critical time to support these programs, and that's what Safe Haven's there to do.
Absolutely. So the golf tournament, what are some things that you had to do a little differently with COVID-19? Can you talk about that?
Sure. We're working very closely with the golf course. They've been wonderful partners in this. Obviously, we're going to be asking people to bring masks, not because you'll necessarily need them on all of the time. It's going to be a hot day. It's August. But obviously there will be times when you'll be close to others and we need people to have masks that they can wear. If people don't have masks, we'll have masks for them.
Sure.
We used to have an awards dinner, and we will again someday, but instead of an awards dinner, we'll have a box lunch for people, and we'll have some space where people can eat, but it'll be spread out and socially distanced, so that we can keep people safe. We'll be doing there's a lot of little details like that, even right down to, we'll bring you your water bottles rather than letting you pick them up on the course. It's a lot of little details that we'll do differently, but still make sure that it's a safe and fun day for everybody.
Yeah. And the thing too is, I mean, the needs of your organization, they don't stop at this, during COVID-19 or, regardless of what's happening in our communities or in the world. And people do want to give back, and they do want to participate. So, kudos to you. Just for in a golf tournament is just the perfect way just to get people together in a very safe social distancing way. And people want to get out there. I do want to talk about the Strike a Chord event, which is one of my favorite events that typically happens in June. You had to get creative with that event as well. So tell us about what's going on with the Strike a Chord event.
Sure. So the Strike a Chord event is there to help support the programming we do in Southwestern Iowa, benefiting our mental health programs, programs for the homeless, programs for child and family wellness. And normally we have a big blowout gala at the Mid-America Center. That would have been on June 16th. We were not able to do that because obviously in-person events were not a good idea at the time, still aren't. So it was converted to be a virtual text to give event. And we're very excited about this. We're keeping the same theme, Andy. The theme is back to the 80s. We are going to celebrate and lift up the 80s. 80s was a great decade. I was a child.
It was.
Yes,
I
it was.
graduated in 1984. So
there you go, 86. So yeah. So we're going to be celebrating the music of the 80s and games from the 80s, movies from the 80s. We will have a text to give event that will run the entire month of September, but we're going to focus some activities the week of September 14th through the 18th. And Charlie and I are working closely together to make sure that we can do a lot of that online through social media, engage some people in some fun things, give them an opportunity to give. We're looking to raise about $32,000 in the month of September through this text to give event. And so we're very, very excited. And there'll be some surprises that we're still coming your way that we'll be announcing in terms of how that's going to play out. But it should be a really fun, engaging time for people to help give and be a part of something, even though they won't be able to do it in person.
Right. So people, is it best safe to say that they can, like, social media is a great way to stay up with all this information and about these different events, to like your Facebook page, follow you on Twitter?
Yeah, absolutely. You can follow us on Twitter. You can follow us on Facebook. We also have LinkedIn. We have YouTube. But our Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn pages are where we really promote a lot of our events. As Mitch mentioned, he and I are working together to make the actual week of the themed event really fun. So we're going to be doing live updates throughout the day on our Facebook page. We're going to be having fundraising updates, contests, those kinds of things. So social media, and then also our website, heartlandfamilyservice.org, is also a great way to stay up to date with all the fun things and all the great things we're doing in the community.
Yeah. And like you said, so heartlandfamilyservice.org, that's also a way for people to find out other ways to give back. But again, you're moving forward with this golf tournament. If you still have spots available, so people get in touch if they want to golf. And also, I love the Strike a Chord. I will definitely be following that, participating in that, viewing that, and supporting that as well, because you just have to get creative during this time. And again, Heartland Family Service, you serve so many people in this community, and your work is so important that even more so now than I think ever. I mean, to be honest, in my opinion. So
I would agree. Like I said, there are so many people in our community who need our assistance. One of the ways that we've kind of adjusted during the pandemic is things like mental health counseling, behavioral health services, homeless prevention services, in-home visits, child welfare. We've transitioned all of that from in person to either phone, telehealth, or video conferencing. So there's no contact, there's all the social distancing. So that's just one of the ways we've adjusted to meet the needs of our clients as well as the pandemic.
Yeah. Well, Charli, Mitch, I just want to thank you both for taking time out to chat with me today. And, but yeah, I'm going to be staying up to date with everything you guys are doing. So just thank you again so much for all you're doing for the community.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you, Andy.